Welcome back, bookish people, to the eReads podcast. I am your host, Liz. You have found my podcast where I talk about books, authorship, and just all the different parts of the creative process. And today, like every other episode, I have an amazing guest, and we're talking about anthologies. So for those who don't know, anthologies are a collection of work by different authors, and in some cases, actors, which you'll learn more about later in this episode. But before I jump into all that, let me tell you about my guest, who is Laurie Lamson. Laurie helps bring entertainment, education, and promo projects to life clearly, concisely, creatively, and inclusively with art, heart, and soul. Her specialty is script writing, and over 100 education, entertainment, and promo projects have been produced, including Guitar Man, a feature film that earned 19 awards, 2 for the screenplay, an Emmy-nominated video for City of LA, an ecological video for Levi, 3 awards, a bunch of projects for the U.S. Army. Also, she does some teaching, most recently a workshop on steampunk and genre writing, and a great deal of consulting and editing for screenplays and books. So now that you know a little bit about Laurie, we're going to jump right into the episode, and then we'll have an ad later on. Welcome, Laurie. How are you?
I'm great. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Love your background, as I said before. Do you want to share the story of the background and what it represents?
I would have to think of the name of the artist first. Wait a second. I always forget. I think it's only fair to share the name of the artist. Let me look it up. But this is a piece of public domain art. It's from the 1800s, I think. And it's a woman writing naked at her writing desk, and I related to it. I've jumped onto my computer at my desk, totally naked because I had an idea and I had to, capture it. And I felt that other writers could relate to that too. And also the vulnerability of emotionally being naked when you're writing.
Absolutely.
And this is I used to promote the Now Write book series of creative writing exercises.
Fantastic. And so before I ask you more about, Now Write and all of that, I like to start with what I call a bookish question. And so my question for you is, if you can co-write with anyone, who would it be?
Living or dead?
Living or dead?
Oscar Wilde, Dickens. Those are kind of my biggest heroes. Shakespeare.
He was on my list when I was thinking about who I would.
Shakespeare?
Yeah.
I don't know how good of collaborators these gentlemen are. Poe, although I think he'd be a little scary.
Ooh.
I mean, I'm thinking of real classic, old-timey writers, but and there's even ancient writers that I really like. Greek playwrights. I have a script where the screenplay where the first part is based on an ancient Greek play, and it's just so modern. It's wild because it's a few thousand years old.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Those are some good picks, though.
Those are old-timey. I mean, there's probably screenwriters that I really admire. Promising Young Woman. What's her name? She's an actress. Could look it up. Promising Young Woman, actress wrote and directed it. And I think that is really special. Emerald Fennell. She's a British actress who wrote and directed Promising Young Woman, which I think is one of the most interesting, relevant things. I mean, not necessarily for everyone, not like Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think it's for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Promising Woman is probably a smaller audience for that, but I really relate to it as a female empowerment weird story, although I don't know how empowered she ends up at the end, but I don't know. Female
Yeah.
rage. I mean, I watch a lot of stuff and enjoy a lot of stuff. A very eclectic taste. So it took me a while to compile. I think I once made a list of my favorite movies, and it's like 3 pages
Like
covering decades. And
yeah, I definitely I hate questions like your favorite this, favorite that, because oh my God, it depends on the time. It just it
the
changes.
time of day,
Yeah.
the season, the mood.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you appreciate a lot of different type of work, it's very hard to say I have a favorite.
Yeah. Because it's so relative.
Yeah, favorite color is the same thing. I love colors.
I love it. So, Lori, again, welcome to the show. Please tell folks a little bit about Now Right.
Okay, it's an interesting story. I could go from the very beginning. My aunt was getting into creative writing and taking these classes and meeting these amazing writers, teachers. And she started doing interviews with them that were so great because she was a social worker and they just were so deep, and she was getting them published in these big journals, literary journals. And
Yeah.
I thought they were so awesome. I said, what about a book, a compilation, an anthology? That's kind of my thing, of these pieces that you're making. And yeah, add some more in. And she's like, you're insane. And then I saw her 6 months later. She lived on the East Coast. I was in California. 6 months later, she's like, will you read my book proposal? I'm like, yes, of course. And she went to, it was at the time called Tarcher Penguin. Now they're Tarcher Perigee. And they said, well, we don't want to publish this book, but we like the idea that you know all these writers and teachers. And what about an anthology of like essays and exercises that's more targeted to exercises, the essays kind of in introduction,
Right.
and more of them. So she did like 84. She's like, okay. She did the fiction. I thought it was so amazing. And meanwhile, she did find a little tiny publisher for her other book. It's called Illuminating Fiction.
Mm,
There's a link to it on the Now Right site. I still think it's amazing. These interviews with these really talented authors are just so deep and inspiring and
mm,
educational. They're wild. So Now Right, a little different. So this Now Right fiction came out. She was working on Now Right nonfiction. And I suggested screenwriting as the next topic because that's where my thing. And I knew writers, I knew a lot of the great consultants and
mhm.
teachers. So that's what I suggested. And she brought me on as a partner. That's where I learned this crazy world of anthology where it's just a lot of organization and it can take a long time. And I told her, the screenwriters might be a little harder to get. They're a little more, I don't know, they have these agents and it's going to be harder. And it was harder, but we did. We got a great, even
Really?
more, 94 contributors. And what is special to me about Myra screenwriting, first of all, she was a beginning writer at the beginning, and her approach was to these books to be for beginners.
Okay.
With the screenwriting, I was introduced in the idea that not just for beginners, it could be for more advanced, experienced writers like me. Not that I'm so advanced, but I had been doing it for a while. So what it includes is contributions from screenwriters that are not in books. They're not, you don't hear from them. It's a
Mm,
different perspective than what you get in the, teaching books about screenwriting. So that was unique about it. And also, even some of these, TV writers and stuff, real professionals were like, I didn't expect to learn anything, but I did. It's right next to my
really?
bedstand. I'm reading it every night. People get a lot out of it. Even if they don't do the exercise, you get a lot just from the essays. So then she went on to do Now Write Mysteries, Crime and Thriller. She was working on that, and sadly, she passed away. She had a surgery, and it wasn't sure if she's going to come out. And
Yeah.
so we planned ahead of time that I would have to take over. She sent me all her contact. She was in the process of collecting the exercises. She had done most of it. So sadly, I had to take that over. I mean, who else would know how to do it? So I'd already done one with her. So and then the publisher asked me, or maybe the agent, are you going to do another one? Like, I don't know. It's a lot of work by yourself. So then I came up with science fiction, fantasy, horror, or spec genres. I wanted to call it, they wanted to call it science fiction, fantasy, horror. Okay. And I realized that how much I liked those genres, especially like the smart versions, the ones that really make you think and they're about philosophical things and just weird. And I started to realize as I researched, this is some of my favorite stuff. I didn't realize that. So I like comedy and
Right.
I don't know, it was a strange experience and it was fun. And I took a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me. I took a slightly different approach because the screenwriting was screenwriters and TV writers. Mysteries, she had people that they had done some TV and movie, but they mostly were authors and they had series. A lot of mysteries ended up having series. For this, I was like, it's going to be about the genres more than the medium. So I'm going to
Mm.
be open to. They
Mm-hmm.
wrote in different mediums, but they wrote in these genres. So I have a horror poet in there.
What?
Her exercise is awesome. Some real legends. They were living legends at the time. At least one of them passed away. TV writers, movie writers, and then people with series authors. I was going more for the genres and the medium. And it's really educational. And the thing about the Now Write books, it's what I love about anthologies in general. It's like many voices in one world or one topic. And it's not like the screenwriting one. There's plenty of books that are attempting to be an end all be all or, step by step, this is what you do. That's not what these books are. They're very eclectic. It's like you can find something, you can open it up. Like I need to work on dialogue, and there's a chapter with a bunch of pieces on dialogue. It's sometimes people are overlapping in their topic. There's two different essays and exercises about subtext. They're coming at it in a different way.
Absolutely.
So it's just a different thing than ABCD, write your screenplay. It's more for inspiration and exercises if you're stuck or go to a specific area. There's different ways you can use it, or just read it beginning to end and you will learn a lot.
I
All of
love
them are like that.
I love that because like from so many different angles, right? So one from anthologies are interesting because you get, maybe you go to an anthology because you follow a particular writer or a person, and then
Hmm.
you get to find someone else that you never would have heard of, and you get to see all this different collaboration. And so that's always nice. But also from the point of view of like a craft book, I like that. Like there's
Hmm.
sometimes like a craft book, you only need this section or that section, and you can really do that. You mentioned that there's exercises, but also the different points of view of the person who is giving the exercise. So
Hmm.
that is very unique and creative.
It's really cool. You just said something that made me realize when I was younger, I used to really eat books. I don't read as much like I used to, but I loved like books of short stories. So I think I got a taste for this. I just thought of that when you said that. Yeah, the thing is, there's an introductory essay. It's like we have a format, but within the format, there's a lot of difference. Some are really short, some are really long. There's ones where there's lots of steps. Those tend to be more the teachers
Mm,
and the consultants. There's some with, it might be something very simple, but their introductory essay, a lot of times it's like what they learned, how they learned this, how they've applied this, why it's helpful, why you should do it, or you might want to do it. So the essays, that's why I said people have said they haven't done any of the exercises, but they love the essays. They feel like they learned a lot because it's about the industry too. I'm talking about screenwriting, but all of them just they might cover, like I said, a similar topic, but they're coming at it a different way. It's a different exercise,
absolutely.
and it's a little bit something for everyone. So it's not you can find something useful for
That's
sure. I think the Now Write books belong on every writer's bookshelf. I like it as a paperback. I mean, they're available, of course, as ebooks, but the nature of the book and how you would actually use it, I think it's more practical and useful to have the books. You can just like flip it up and you can go, okay, I need to learn something today. What is it?
Let
I'd
me
like to go to that chapter.
absolutely, like I have made the error of sometimes getting like an audiobook or an ebook of a craft book, and then I've had to go back and buy like the paperback because there's
Yeah,
sometimes, at least for me, like you need to like have it in your hand, be able to like feel it and highlight and just have that physicality.
highlight it. Yeah,
Yeah, so
earmark it or go to
mhm,
not read it in a linear way. I
yeah,
agree about craft books and even like self-help books, things like that.
absolutely. I love that. And it also have one for actors, and did I see
Not yet, not yet.
an
Okay,
audio as well? So tell us a little bit more.
okay. This is crazy. Okay. Years ago, when I was finishing the other one, I decided I wanted to do the same thing for actors. And it's so ambitious because I thought screenwriters are hard to get. Name actors are even harder. I'm getting closer. I mean, I've collected so many. wonderful exercise. It's about craft and about the business, like auditioning, like business side of being an actor. It's
Yeah.
both. So I've collected a lot of good stuff. I still am working on toward getting some names just because it's helpful with the publishing. But I realized this is a valuable book as it is, even if I don't get the big names. Um, so I'm not going to give up on it. I would like to wrap that up by the end of the year. I said that last year, but this year for sure. I mean, this because now I have some good things. I do have some sort of rather successful actors in it, just like the big names. But and I haven't given up on them. It's hard to get to them. They've got all the gatekeepers that
Mm.
are more strict than the screenwriters' gatekeepers.
Oh my.
But I'm working at it. So regardless, I think it's going to be a really valuable book, and not just for actors, because a lot of the stuff about a lot of it is the craft, and that's for actors. But stuff about the business,
Mm.
I think anyone interested in working with that, like I think it would be valuable for directors, people
Mm.
who want to understand actors and work with them, the business side and the craft side. And I have not just actors contributing, there's directors and casting directors. Just like with the other books, it's like if you have something valuable for actors, I want to include it.
I love that. And did I also see that you have an audio anthology?
Yeah. I'm kind of an anthology lady, I realize.
So tell
Because
me
I
what.
just love anthology. I mean, there's so much work, but I kind of I just like I said, I love many voices under one
Yeah.
sort of roof. Um, with the audio anthology, it's called Anti-Heroine. It's a scripted podcast series audio anthology. During the pandemic, I produced a short audio of, I mean, it's a short script of mine. I produced it with actors because I was like, I would like something finished of mine that I can share with people, show my writing and whatever. And I don't know if it's going to be people's favorite thing. I mean, execution. I shouldn't say that. It's cute and it's funny. And I have a few things in mind, but anyway, I created this audio and I was going to like just release it, just have it out there, a sample of my work.
Great.
And then I got this brainstorm about what if I made an anthology and put it out together with other stuff under this theme of all women lead characters. So I started to put it out there and collect stuff and I realized I have a short film that fit the theme very well. And that's what took the longest, editing down and reorganizing to make it make sense with
Mhm.
audio and cutting out things I don't like anymore and shorter. This film, every time I thought it was done, it's like I had to go back in there and it's 4 hours and it's still
Oh
not done.
my.
But I'm happy with it now. That's going to be one of the later ones coming out. So that's a few of them. Mine's not the only one. There's two others that were short films that were adapted for audio only.
Really?
And yeah, because if
Sounds
you
like
can
an
make it
interesting
work,
process.
yeah, because they already have the soundtrack. Like the first one I did, it's called
Mhm.
Muriel. I
Yeah.
think it's the second one I released. Yeah, second or third, second. And it with Muriel, I learned having made short films before, you starting from scratch. I never even thought about that. Like you have your audio of your actors talking, but you have to create the entire world, every background noise, the phone ringing. Sounds like she's learning how to be an auto mechanic. So it starts, she's in the class. So I start with this grinding sounds of working on cars. You have to layer in every single thing. If there's a few steps taken, if it's not there, it feels weird. Whereas when you're making a film, often audio can be challenging to get it cleanly without a lot of noise. But you kind of take for granted when you're shooting, you're also recording sound and you've got something there. So here it's like with audio, you're starting from scratch, but that also is such a creative process. I actually really, really enjoyed it.
Really? S- You are definitely like the anthology queen in terms
I,
you got screenplays, you got audio. Like, is there an area of anthology you haven't touched upon yet?
well, I will tell you, I have a sort of coach who wants to partner with me to offer helping people make their own anthologies in different industries.
Stop.
We haven't even started yet. We've just talked about it at length. His idea is because this is like most of his clients are more like in different businesses. They're not so much in entertainment like me, fringe tales, but it is. And he so it's kind of a natural fit with the other things he's doing to help people build their platform and build their business. And the idea is they can be an author and have a book and invite other people in their industry to contribute their essay, their point of view. So it's again under one topic, but it's different experts, and it's a great networking thing to network with other people in your field and maybe partner with them on other things. And our thing is like they can write it or we can do it for you, hold their hand through the whole process, such as I'd interview them, I'd edit, give it to them for approval, and he would be more of the marketing side of it. I would be more of the actual creation of the book.
Right.
So that's how he and I would partner, and it was his idea, and I think it's a great idea because it can be effective in pretty much a lot of industries, and it's like it's a white label thing. It's like your thing, you're the author editor, or you're the author, and you're contributing a piece, and it's under your roof of your brand.
Mm.
So it can be really useful for a lot of business people that and maybe don't necessarily want to write or have the time to write.
Right.
We can get it with an interview a lot of times. That's what I'm doing with acting books sometimes. A lot of them are also writers, they're happy to write, but some of them I interview them and then I edit and give it back for their approval. It's just easier. Actors aren't all writers and they're not they might be great writers. They're just maybe nervous about it. I don't know. We're too busy.
Absolutely. Like, again, I love how you blend again this, the exercises. So like there's a little something for everyone, right? You have the exercises, you have the experience. There's something for everyone. Um it's again and thinking how you've taken this over from your family member. It's a nice little story and a
It's
nice little
strange, isn't it? I know.
yeah.
You know what is so weird? It's like I built this website for her because she wanted to offer, she was starting to offer kind of coaching
Mhm.
because as a social worker and understanding writing, she thought she would be a great writing coach. And I agree, she would have been great. I mean, she died right when I was getting the website done.
Mm.
So I had this website and then I had more books to add on to it. And I just added on to it. And of course, I offer now some services like she wanted to offer, which is coaching one-on-one. What I do is more consulting.
Yeah.
I have a couple people that I'm just sort of coaching to creatively coaching them in different ways, but usually it's consulting on a book or screenplay, reading it, very in-depth notes, and then talking about what I'm suggesting and helping you brainstorm solutions and things like that. And then I also do editing, a lot of editing on books,
Oh
sometimes
my God, you're
screenplays.
busy.
I like to be. I'm not always. I mean, I just had a slow time recently, but it's interesting. I was having a conversation yesterday with an author who I just think their publisher and their editors, they do nonfiction. They didn't really understand fiction. So we had this lively discussion about, some of their advice. I just didn't agree. And then I realized that then, oh, because they specialize in a different kind of book.
Mm.
So they're applying that knowledge to fiction, which is different, or
Yeah.
based on a true story, dramatized. Also, the way he described how the agent, I mean, how an editor worked with them, it's like so different. Just give
Really?
it to me and I'll blah, 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 and I'll show you. I just would never do that. What I like to do is empower artists and writers. I want to empower you and I want to understand what you're trying
Right.
to do.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, and so if I don't understand it, we'll talk about it. Maybe it didn't get on the page, but
Right.
it's all about what you are attempting to accomplish and can we make it more effective for an audience? That's the job of the editor, not to impose their point of view. And I think maybe I have a lot of my own creative outlets, so it's like I have no need to impose on someone. I really want to help them make their project work with their voice
I
in
love it.
their way with what they want to say.
I love that. In thinking about, empowering people in their voice, eh, for those listening, are there any words that you can say about how an anthology can help to empower them or how they can use an anthology in a helpful way?
Well, for writers, the Now Write books existing, there's just a lot of great stuff in there. The fiction and nonfiction ones have really creative exercises if you're not a screenwriter or a genre writer. So that exists. If you want to create an anthology, I think there's a lot of benefits to that. Like work with us or do it on your own. There's a lot of benefit because you are connecting with people in your industry that may be ahead of you.
Mm.
You can learn from that could help open doors and lift you up and give you opportunities, or even you're just learning from being around them and putting yourself in that world with maybe people that are more advanced in your field is very powerful. It's very empowering and it's very confidence boosting. I mean, from the Now Write screenwriting, I was brought on to International Screenwriters Association to be the host of their telecons. I did that for 4 years. And I'd bring people from my books and I'd prep them, interview them, and I'd manage the Q&A. And I just was very uplifting and I learned a lot and it was a networking thing. It was great. So you never know what can happen when you put an anthology together. Just like if you're an author of a book, people always say you want to author a book because it makes you more of an authority. An anthology book, in some ways, it makes you even more of an authority because you're learning from all the contributions and you're hobnobbing with them, so to speak. So I think there's a lot of benefits to putting an anthology together, and it is a lot of work. It's just having more voices, I think, uplifts what you want to say.
Mm. I love how you kind of touch on it being a networking tool. I don't think, writing is so solo. And so I
Mhm.
think that is a really great way to connect with others, to build your craft, to learn from others. So thank you for that.
And like authors, I think, they do very well sometimes, like anthologies of sci-fi fiction,
Mm.
zombie love stories, or when you pick your theme that you're interested in, that you want to participate in, just like what I did with Anti-Heroine, the audio series. It's like I have a kind of a theme and I want to elevate the theme, and it's really kind of different. Most of the fiction audio I've heard is sci-fi and horror.
Mm.
There's a little bit of that. There's like a mixture of genres. There's my things tend to be semi-satirical comedy drama, and there's sci-fi futuristic. There's a witch trial story. There's different things. So whatever you're into and interested in, you could put together a fiction anthology
Mm.
and invite, you know, more advanced writers than yourself. And now you're in communication with them and it just, it's fun. It elevates you. You learn and you're putting yourself on a par with all your other contributors. If not, you're the author of this too. So you're kind of the authority, at least of this anthology.
I
And you're
love it.
becoming like a real expert on this topic or this type of this genre or this medium.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I've learned a lot myself about audio just from working on that. Anyway,
Listen, listen, I'm gonna have to definitely do a deep dive into that link because I thought that was so cool, the audio anthology. So thank you for sharing about that. And for those who are just like, I need to know more, I want to connect with Laurie, how can they connect? Where can they read more about the things that you produce?
well, I have the Now Write site. That's nowwrite.net, NOWWRITE.net. My other main site where I have my homepage for Anti-Heroine is Jazzy May Media, JAZZYMAE media, all one word.com. And on that homepage, there's a link to the Anti-Heroine homepage. And there's also a link to my news flash, which I'm starting to do more often. And just to say about that really quickly, that is, yes, updates on what I'm doing, but I also have a creative colleague showcase. And something else I've started is it's called like an opportunities or resources.
Oh, lovely.
Like there's this contest coming up or this discount or whatever. Because that's what I like to, I don't know, network people, or I get an email with a resource. Oh, that person could use that. I send that to them. It's kind of what I do anyway. So a friend of mine suggested do that in my news flash, which maybe once every 2 months is what it's going to be.
Nice.
While I'm doing anti-heroin maybe once a month, but probably going to slow down after I'm busy. Anthology
You
lady.
are busy. And so I thank you so much for taking the time to come and chat with me on my podcast. It has been fantastic having you. Laurie, before I ask my last question, is there any last words that you want to leave folks with who might either be inspired and want to connect with others and do an anthology or just, about writing? Is there any last words you want to leave us with?
Well, for creative people in general, I think one of my biggest obstacles was perfectionism, judging my work's not good enough. In the artist's way, changed that for me completely. What I got from that, I was ready, I guess. It's not for you to judge your own work. Others are going to do that. Don't worry about that. And
Yes.
then, and so it's just for you to do it. If you have the calling to do it, it's for you to do it. And the first drafts are for you. You're getting your ideas out. Don't expect it to be polished. I was, unrealistic expectations, expecting something to come out perfect and polished. That's not how writing works. It's just not how it works. There's going to be a different brain to edit, and there's getting input. And I agree with that. I disagree with that. Oh, that's a great idea. Um, that's why we call them drafts. It's not first draft work. So, and so, perfectionism can be replaced with excellence. I'm seeking excellence and mastery of my craft, which could be a lifetime journey, which is a valid life journey, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Whereas perfectionism is the enemy of creativity. That's why you get stuck. It's an enemy. It's not helping you. You're better off. We're all better off as creators and artists to uh, not worry about perfect because, by the way, it doesn't exist. Who gets to decide? Your audience might be bigger or smaller. Your project might be effective, more or less effective in touching an audience or pulling them in, and you can move it toward more effective as you become more, you know, more skilled and masterful. That rewired my brain, I think, a little bit. It's like
Listen, it's
there's
rewiring.
no perfect. I'm going for mastery and excellence, and I am learning, and I will continue learning.
Come on, Lori. Listen, love that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, thank you so much for all your words of wisdom. Listeners, please check out Laurie and all of these wonderful Now Write books. If you missed how to connect with her, it will be in the episode show notes. So please take a look there. Laurie, my last question for you is I like to leave people with inspiration, something that they can use either in their writing, their creating, their music, cooking, whatever the way they express themselves. So if you had to leave us with a word or a phrase, what would you leave us with?
Wish I had prepared the quote or something. I have millions of words of wisdom that I collect for my own inspiration. Just do it. No.
Oh, hey, that'll work.
I think your voice matters. Your calling. If you're called to do something, fears, anxiety stuff gets in the way. It's worth exploring because you'll grow and heal.
Mm.
But it is just do it. It's explore it. It's take the little baby steps. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Laurie, I love it. Listen, y'all. So to hear what I do with Laurie's prompt, just do it. Stay to the end of this episode. I cannot wait for y'all to hear, and I can't wait to create it. So thank you so much for that, Laurie.
Thank you. I mean, not original. I got it from Nike, but I think it applies. It really applies for artists. I mean, so many people who are kind of stuck
Yeah.
or so worried because I know how it feels. I was like that. It was a big journey for me to learn how to just give it's permission. Okay, one more word of wisdom, phrase of wisdom, permission, worthiness, safe. These are the three biggest interferences. Don't feel worthy, don't feel safe, don't feel like you have permission. So you practice giving yourself permission, work on your self-worth, that your voice is not like anyone else's, and that's okay. You're not going to sound like Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman sounds like Neil Gaiman. And safety, that's a biggie because you don't want to be judged. You don't want your work judged. It's your baby. So that's really working on I'm safe, secure, protected by divine love.
Come on, Laurie.
The affirmation I use to tell all the time.
Now, and you do coaching as well, so y'all better connect with Laurie for more of these words of wisdom. I love it. Thank you so much for stopping by, Laurie.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I love deep conversations about the sacred art of storytelling and being a creator. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. True story, Carrie yells over the aggressive growl of the plane's motor, capturing the attention of her eager listeners gripping their seatbelts as the plane knocks against the gust. Turning from the billowy clouds outside the window to the ashen white passengers, she continues. I'm right there on the edge of my seat. I have the pen in hand, about to sign this $500,000 contract to be the VP of this tech firm. And then the idea hits me. Boom, out of nowhere, the thought comes and says, I should fly planes. So you know what I do? I push the pen to the other side of the table and walk out. Not another word. You know what I mean? But the passengers, Tim and Hank, do not know what she means. They are just two college athletes trying to get to Nevada on a ramen budget, hence being in a tin can plane almost ready to give up their lunch. Carrie doesn't wait for Tim or Hank to agree before she continues. It was that day I looked into the best flight schools and started my journey. I had some detours, but sometimes you just gotta do it, you know what I mean? This time, Carrie waits for a reply. Tim and Hank look at each other. Tim kicks his friend in the shin, prompting him to say something. Hank clears his throat. So, was flight school worth it? Tim rolls his eyes, but Carrie smiles and turns her sights back on the open skies. Not really. The instructor was a douche, so I left and decided I'd be self-taught. Like I said, sometimes you just have to do it.